All right, let's talk about something we've all experienced, but nobody really wants to talk about. You know the moment, but have you ever stopped to wonder why it happens? Well, today we're pulling back the curtain on the science of smelly gas. It's a question a lot of us are maybe too embarrassed to ask, but trust me, your body is sending you signals, and we're here to figure out what they mean.
So here's the real question, right? Is this whole thing just a super annoying and yet sometimes really awkward part of being human? Or could it actually be your body's way of waving a little red flag? That is exactly what we are going to get into. And to make it all make sense, we're going to use a super simple ABC guide. A is for the actual causes, what's going in. B is for the biological process, what in the world is happening inside your gut. And C is for the consequences, like when should you maybe start paying a little more attention? Let's dive in.
Okay, first up, let's tackle part A, the root causes. We've got to figure out what's fueling this whole situation in the first place.
A lot of the time, it really does start with what's on your dinner plate. Foods that are packed with sulfur are pretty much the #1 culprit. We're talking red meat, eggs, dairy, and even some really healthy veggies like broccoli and onions. Think of them as the key ingredients for that, distinct aroma.
But hey, it's not always just about your diet. Sometimes the problem is a little deeper. Your gut microbiome could be out of whack, with the gassy bacteria kind of taking over. Or it could be a clue that something else is going on, like lactose intolerance, IBS, or just your digestion not running as smoothly as it should.
All right, on to part B, the internal factory. We've got the raw materials. Now let's see how the production line actually works inside your body. So, just imagine your colon is this little fermentation factory. When foods that are tough to digest, like certain carbs, show up, the bacteria in there just go to town. It's like a feast for them. And as they're feasting, they release byproducts. And yep, one of those is the gas that causes the smell.
And get this, the speed of your digestion plays a huge role. If you have a fast-moving gut, things pass through pretty quickly, so bacteria don't have much time to do their thing. But in a slow-moving gut, that food hangs around for a while, giving those bacteria a ton of extra time to ferment, which leads to a much more, potent result.
And that brings us to our final section, part C, the smelly science. Let's break down the smell itself, and, most importantly, when it might be a sign of something more serious.
Okay, so what is actually responsible for that very specific rotten egg smell we all know? Well, it's a chemical compound called hydrogen sulfide. That is the main offender. The more of that stuff your internal factory is producing, the stronger the aroma is going to be.
Now here's a fact that might actually blow your mind. Over 99% of the gas your body produces has absolutely no smell at all. Seriously, it's mostly harmless stuff like nitrogen and carbon dioxide. All of that fuss comes from that tiny little 1% that's made of those sulfur compounds. Crazy, right?
So this is the really important part. When should you actually be concerned? Look, a bad smell on its own is usually not a big deal, but you need to pay attention if it comes with some friends. I'm talking about things like severe stomach pain that doesn't go away, diarrhea that just won't quit, losing weight without trying, or serious chronic bloating. Those are the signals you don't want to ignore.
So, if you are experiencing any of those red flag symptoms, what is the next step you should take?
Let's be real. It can be a pretty awkward topic to bring up, and that can stop people from getting the help they need. So if you're worried, who do you even talk to about this?
Your best move is to see a gastroenterologist. They are the absolute experts on the entire digestive system. They've seen and heard it all, and they're the ones who can really get to the bottom of what's going on and help you find a real solution.
And that really is the key takeaway here. Don't just suffer through it or feel embarrassed. The goal is to understand what's really happening so you can treat it the right way and, most importantly, just get back to feeling good and confident.